Hello, thanks for joining me. I want to do a kind of a roster review here for you guys. Nobody really watches my channel for Marvel Strike Force content, but I have been playing this game for about 8 months, and I'm getting to a point where I feel like I'm mid-game, right? I've actually beaten Dark Dimension 1 and Dark Dimension 2. I'm basically just getting some characters up to Dark Dimension 3, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my progression path as much as I can remember it, because I feel like I'm entering a portion of the game where, like, I have a few more resources, right? And I've got like more of the character, most of the characters unlocked and things like that. So it's feeling different than it did just a few weeks ago when I was playing. So before I forget what that felt like, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know what this 8 months has been like. For starters, here we're looking at the characters that I don't have, which is, it feels like very few comparatively. Obviously, when I started the game, you barely have any. I still have not gotten Agent Coulson. I think he is still, for me at least, just an unlock from, I want to say, milestone orbs. I'm sure that probably, people, veteran players that were playing when he came out, probably got some events and things like that for him. I don't know, it's possible. I don't know if we've gotten anything, a calendar or anything that gave me Coulson shards. Nothing that I really remember, right? I'm still working on Phoenix, obviously. She's a pretty late game legendary. I'm actually getting pretty close on her, so we can talk about that more. Black Bolt, I'm actually ready for Black Bolt. All I need is for his event to come back around. I've got my Asgardians all at 5 stars or higher. Dr. Octopus, he is a new legendary. I guess his event has already come and gone, his first one, but I wasn't able to unlock him. You need to use X-Force, and there are also like 3 of those characters are new, or is that right? Yeah, 3 of them are new, and you have to probably whale on those characters to get them up to 5 stars to unlock Doctor Octopus. I even actually bought. I think like one orb pack for X-23 for like $10 or something like that. And that, we need to talk about the way that I spend in this game. So I'm not exactly a free-to-play player, but I think of myself as like close to free-to-play, right? The way I look at this is I'm enjoying this game, I'm playing it quite a bit, so I figure, kind of like a subscription to an MMO or something. I would be willing to spend maybe $5 to $10 a month on this game. So, having played the game for 8 months, I think I've probably spent a good maybe 60, maybe up around $70 on the game. So, that's a lot of money. So I think I'm, maybe gonna consider whether I want to spend any more than that on this game. But it is, I just think of it like if I was buying a new game for the PlayStation 4 or something like that, you spend about $60 on it. I haven't minded spending $5-10 in a month on the game, here and there. Magneto, he's another legendary that I don't have. Actually, I don't think I could get him right now. I would need to get another, Brotherhood or X-Men character up to 5 stars. I think maybe 1 or 2, but they're pretty close. I think I can do it before his event comes around again. Ebony Maw, of course, you need Black Bolt to unlock, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. Plus, I don't remember what his requirements are, but I think it's Inhumans, and I haven't been working on the Inhumans team at all, so I'll have to see where I am with that. He's still out there for me. Invisible Woman, we can talk more about that when we go through the list here. Anti-Venom and Scream are coming right up. Really excited about them. You can get Scream right now, but her event hasn't launched. It's launching in like, I think, 2 days. So my symbiotes are basically my strongest team right now. And so I can't wait for Scream and Anti-Venom. I don't really know them from the comics other than, of course, like Venom. I was reading Spider-Man when Venom came out, whatever it was, 25-30 years ago now. And She-Hulk. She was just made available today, I think, in terms of getting her orbs and stuff. Also, she still has not had an event happen. So these are characters that I really am not working on much at all. Mr. Fantastic, Nebula, Cull Obsidian. I have been around for the Black Order was released since I've been playing the game. I have been able to get all of the Black Order, I guess, aside from Ebony Maw. You know, I've got Call Obsidian at 3 stars. You know, I wasn't really able to go too hard on some of these when they were coming out. You know, it just depends on how they're released. Haven't been focusing on Wasp. Haven't been focusing on Hawkeye. Electra just came out. You know, I didn't pull major red stars for her. I got 3 red stars. Have only gotten two stars for her through her unlock. I forget what even her event was. I haven't been working on the Avengers really. They did just get a rework not too long ago. So I'm thinking about boosting up Captain America. He has a lot of tags. He's Shield, he's military, he's Avenger, and I'm actually kind of interested just in this military tag. You know, not for any reason other than I feel like it's a bit of an underutilized tag in this game. And I mean, there's a lot of people that theorycraft and have tried these characters out, and I've never heard anyone mention the synergy between Captain Marvel and War Machine. But I've been really interested in it because you know, she has some like military allies gain 15% max health, gain 10% damage. You know, any team that has 4 members, like, they really, you know, people will talk about the team being a team, and then just who is going to be your 5th member. Nobody talks about military as a team. So I'm assuming that it doesn't really make a good synergy team, but I mean, Captain America and Winter Soldier have had reworks. I don't know, I'm just really curious about it. I don't know, you know, I don't know if there's anything to that at all, but I am curious to know if there's anything cool you can do there. Fantastic Four just had kind of a rework with She-Hulk coming in. They're kind of have an avenue to be on war defense or war offense, I think, with Namor. A lot of people seem pretty disappointed about that. I look at it as more of like an option, you know. I think they can be war offense or war defense with one character or the other character. But I don't know. This game does have a lot of power creep, where I think new characters just tend to naturally be better than older characters. And that's why you're seeing like some of the older characters get reworks. I think it works out really well, and it makes sense, but you have to be cognizant of that. Quake is an Inhuman. I have not been working on her at all. As far as I know, she used to be a really good character also on S.H.I.E.L.D., but again, when I started, we'll talk a little more about the characters I focused on when I started. Yo-Yo, I was excited to be able to unlock her. I think, I'm trying to remember if she's one of those characters that like you can only really get in orbs. So I think I just got, you know, some decent pulls on premium orbs or something like that, and between that and basic orbs, and you know, maybe she's been in a calendar or two. Here she is, 3 stars. You know, not really high, but three gold stars, 3 red stars. So that's pretty good. Swarm's a new character. Namor, I pulled 5 red stars for him not too long ago. He's also, what is it, a raid store? So he's one of the stores. I think raid store. And yeah, you know, it's kind of a bummer. But I have him at 5 stars. Like, I think when I get Invisible Woman, maybe I'll start working on Fantastic Four and maybe use them on either... Well, I mean, if I'm going to use them with Namor, it's going to be on War Offense. So we'll have to see. I don't know. You know, Karnak is an Inhuman. That team will be important for me soon. I do not really have my Brotherhood built up at all. But I'm kind of excited about that because I think they're going to be really strong. They're pretty strong in my Arena Shard right now. I don't like going against them with my symbiotes, and they seem like a good team, especially like they have a kind of a new iteration with Toad and Blob on it. Don't have a lot of red stars for Toad, don't have a lot of, you know, regular stars for Toad. He's only up to 4 star, but he is farmable in, what is it, the Blitz store, I think, with Blitz credits, so he's not too hard to get. If he's not, it's Raid, it's one of the two, I think it's Blitz. I did not work on my defenders. I did use some defenders early in the game. When you start off, you tend to have, like, Elektra, I think, was one of the characters. I feel like it was sort of a login bonus, but like, not login, but like a new player bonus. There tends to be a character that you can get We were kind of gifted Groot when I started playing. So I had Groot, I had Elektra. I think you get Luke Cage, I think, early on. So anyway, I built some of them up, but when it came to going defenders or shield, I went with shield, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Korath was kind of a late unlock for me, so I do have him at 4 red stars, which is not bad. But I haven't had a reason to build him up yet, and again, we can talk more about that with my mercenaries. Jessica Jones, Daredevil, I just did not put anything into any of them. Crystal was a later unlock for me. She was just added to the Arena store not so long ago, so she'll be good for the Inhumans team, but again, I'm not working on them yet. Hand. So a hand is important for the Relic event. Some of the hand characters are important to unlock Phoenix. So I went ahead and, have built some of them up. Some of them are just sort of early characters that you get. I have Hand Archer to 15, Hand Assassin to 15. I don't know that I'm actually really going to go anywhere with them. I think I got them up to 15 because I figured, well, maybe I'll use them, fill them in for playing on blitz teams and things like that. But Hand Assassin, I was thinking of bringing up to unlock Phoenix, but then I realized I could do Hela, right? So that I'm not working on her at all. So, we're getting into some characters that I've put like a little bit of resources into. Ironheart's pretty cool. She's a new character. It sounds like some people are a little disappointed, like she doesn't make power armor super great like people were hoping, I guess. But, the power armor team seems like a good team, and it seems like a good team with her on it. I think I'm planning to use them on War Offense and as a blitz team, if it makes sense. I have them at a pretty low level right now. They're pretty much all at 18, except for War Machine. I like War Machine in this game. I like him in the like the Iron Man movies and stuff like that. I never really read the comics, but the thing with War Machine is it's like I feel like some characters sometimes you just have really good luck pulling, and I tend to pull War Machine a lot. So I have him at quite a few stars. I don't actually even remember how many red stars I have for him. But he also has that military tag, and it's just, I'm curious to build him up and use him more. So I feel like he's going to be kind of the heart of my power armor team. And so I think I'm going to build up power armor a little bit more. But man, all this stuff takes a back seat to you really have to pick and choose what characters you want to build up in this game. So I have not really built power armor up much. The Ravagers suck right now. Hydra has kind of sucked, but they've gotten several reworks, new characters and stuff like that. They're a little bit exciting. I have not invested in the Red Skull team, though. I just got Red Skull not that long ago. It was maybe a month or two ago I got Red Skull. And I was planning to build them up, put them on War Defense, but my War Defense is actually really strong. So I haven't felt the need to do that. I will probably build them up a little bit for War Defense later, but I don't know. My War Defense is pretty good. Let's see here. So yeah, some Hydra, Ravagers, more power armor. They're all great. Falcon's supposed to be really good, but he's falling out of the meta, I think, a little bit more. Obviously Black Order I want to build up, but I need to have all of Black Order. Sinister Six. Now, Sinister Six is one of those teams that is really recommended to build up, to use to unlock Invisible Woman. You can use them to unlock Shuri, all of those things. They've also gotten a lot of new characters just recently, so they're a really cool team. I like the Spider Universe too, but when it's come down to building up the Sinister Six, so what I ended up doing for legendaries, my legendary schedule was, the first one I unlocked was Star-Lord. Then I unlocked, gosh, what did I even unlock after that? I think maybe it was Nick Fury after that. Since then I've unlocked Shuri. I was able to unlock Shuri with my regular kind of Spider-Verse symbiotes and stuff like that, right? So I didn't really need Sinister Six for that. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, I could go after Invisible Woman, but at this point I'm like, I think I'd rather just go over for Black Bolt and Phoenix. So that's what I'm working on right now. So You can see Blob, I just pulled 5 red stars for Blob. I'm actually kind of excited about that. Like I said, I think that this sort of Brotherhood 2.0 team is going to be pretty cool for me. So I've got Toad, only 3 red stars, and only, I think, 3 stars in general, but he's farmable. Blob at 5 red stars, I think is really good. He's also farmable, so they're really accessible right now. Black Widow, I think she's going to get a rework. I haven't really worked on her much. Mystique, now we've got this new kind of Marauders team. Emma Frost has been added to the Marauders. Mystique also has kind of a double tag with Brotherhood. I kind of like Mystique in this game, like when I've fought against her, in campaign nodes and stuff like that, especially early on. I don't know that she's a super, like, great, like, important character on either of those teams, but it's nice, like, she has a home. She definitely, you're going to play her on one or both of those teams, and she seems like a decent character. I don't have good red stars on her, though, which is kind of a bummer, but Pyro I do. I've also got Pyro at 5 stars, so this is red star, so this is another reason why I'm pretty excited about Brotherhood. I just have to wait. He's a farmable in the War Store, so I definitely could have gotten him up to 5 gold stars, but I've had other priorities. But like, he's close, so he'll be there. I think when that Brotherhood 2.0 team, I'm ready to go with them. Night Nurse. So Night Nurse was one of those characters I had early on. I invested in her a little bit because she was a useful healer earlier on in the game. Same with Ant-Man. I had him earlier on in the game. I invested some in him because, early in the game, you just have to go with the characters you have, and they help you get through, parts of the campaign, right? Maybe the Heroes campaign or something like that. So, you can see basically once I got them up to about levels, 40, 50, I stopped working on them. I have not spent the money to upgrade their stars or anything like that. Wakandans seem like a little bit of a sad story in this game, because I guess, like, everyone was excited about them and they were really hyped up, and you had a legendary with Shuri, and then, like, it sort of fizzled out and everyone was pretty disappointed with it. From what I hear, like, Black Panther's a pretty cool character. I guess people say M'Baku and Okoye are kind of like, not that great as far as Protector and whatever Brawler go or something, but they're a team, and I kind of want to keep them together. Like, everyone is splitting them up, putting Shuri on other teams, putting Killmonger on other teams. I think I'm, for the most part right now, keeping my Wakandans together. They're useful in the event that comes up once a month where you can get red stars, I think, or promotion credits or something like that. I think maybe promotion credits. And, like, that's a good event, so that's why I had to bump them all up to 37 and, give them some more gear and stuff like that just to be competitive in that event. And because of that, I'm using them as a blitz team, right? I don't have tons of teams that are way built up. All these veteran characters, players can kind of pick and choose, like, all the best blitz teams and stuff like that. I mean, I'm using Wakandans as a blitz team. They're useful to me for that. Okay, so more characters that I've built up a little bit here. Elektra, she was really useful early game for me. One of the first characters you get. She hits pretty hard. She's a brawler. She's got that stealth. She does her, like, backstab attack and stuff like that. Not bad. Same with Hand Sentry. He's a protector or something like that. I was using these characters, so I built them up just out of necessity. Ravager Boomer. This one's a funny one because this was one of those legendary unlocks, right? So like I said, my first unlock was Star-Lord. Now, I think that Star-Lord had come around at least once or twice before I was able to get him. But, I started watching YouTube videos and reading about the game pretty early, so I kind of knew, oh, hey, a lot of this game is about getting your legendaries. You want to, like, build up some of your characters, get their stars high so you can unlock these legendaries. So I'd been working on my Guardians for Star-Lord. I didn't really want to work on Yondu, because I'm like, there are better characters, I think, than Yondu in the game, and I could work on just, Rocket and have him up high enough stars. But the event came around, and I did not have Rocket up high to 5 stars, and I wasn't going to be able to do it. and I was like, is there anything I can do so I do not miss out on Star-Lord for like a third time? I was really close to just having enough built up for Ravager Boomer just because he's in the raid store, I think. And you open those raid orbs. I'd open a bunch of them, and I just had like you can see right now. I could bump him up to 6-star if I wanted, right? I just had that stuff built up, so I invested the money in it. Leveled him up just a little bit so that I could, he could maybe stay alive and help me in that battle just a tiny bit. And I got Star-Lord, so no regrets there. I use him on a blitz team, it's useful. So yeah, America Chavez, Chavez, I don't know how you say that. I was not working on her much, but we got a new team, Young Avengers, and I think she's useful on that. I have not built her up a lot. I do not have good red stars on her or anything like that. But that team is kind of cool. At first I was like, I don't know, Squirrel Girl or whatever. What I realized is I've invested heavily in Miles. Spider-Man, we'll talk more about that. So I've been putting just a little bit into her for that team. It's useful on Blitz for me. Scarlet Witch, part of the Supernatural team. I really like Supernatural right now. Mostly because I pulled I didn't. I pulled 5 red stars for Ghost Rider pretty early on. Ghost Rider was also made farmable as I've been playing this game, maybe, I don't know, around halfway through. And I've been able to farm him and build him up. And also, Mordo is pretty important for unlocking Phoenix and things like that. And he's been good on this he's been good as like a mystic villain character for some of the campaign nodes. He's been good on this Supernatural team, especially in Blitz and things like that. They're a good war offense team, so I really like Supernatural right now. I'm not investing heavily in them, but they're like one of those teams I'm planning to probably bring up even a little higher than they are right now. Vision. Now, Vision is supposed to be like a good character. He was especially like really a meta character, I think, especially like when I first started playing the game. I actually got lucky with pulls on him and was able to get him early too. I also have more recently pulled 5 red stars for him. So there's kind of a lot of good, mojo for me around Vision, but I haven't invested in him heavily, right? I've obviously some. He's been useful in some things. I've been using him also in like a blitz team and stuff like that. But I don't know. He's falling out of the meta right now, and I don't know if I see a really great reason for me to invest heavily in him, except for the fact that he does have 5 red stars, so that might be useful. I also have access to his node now, which is kind of a later game node, so I can build him up to 5 stars easily enough. I don't know. We'll see if I put anything more into him for any reason. Or I don't feel like I have much reason right now, does he have Avengers tag? He does. I mean, if I kind of used him on an Avengers team of some sort, that might be useful. Hand Sorceress, again, just a character that I had early on. She was really useful as a healer. She was really useful in villains campaign. I really needed villains built up for villains campaign when I was playing early on. I was using Hand Sentry. I was using Hand Sorceress. Elsa Bloodstone, part of Supernatural. She's been hard to farm. Trying to build her up a little. Hydra Grenadier. Now I love what they've done with Hydra. I really like when they've been adding a character and it goes and it takes what people would call trash characters and makes them good. That I love. So I don't know if any dev watches this. I love that about this game. I love that they added in, Baron Zemo, and now like it has synergy with Hydra Grenadier with some stuff. I pulled 4 red stars for Hydra Grenadier. I'm actually kind of excited about bumping them up another star. Making that team a little bit better. It's a cool team. I don't really know, like, what are they, like a war? They're good on war offense, so that's kind of a war offense team I'm more excited about even than, let's say, like Power Armor or something. Baron Zemo's great on PvP too, which is kind of cool. I like this. It's cool. Winter Soldier is also part of that. Winter Soldier also has that military tag. I liked Winter Soldier in like the Captain America movies and stuff like that. I haven't invested heavily in these characters. They're only at 45, but yeah, I'm excited to keep going with him. I don't have very good red stars on Winter Soldier. Shuri was an unlock for me, a legendary unlock. Excited about that. Shuri's a great character. She slots into a lot of stuff. I do not have her at good red stars though, and I'm basically just building her up with the Wakandan team right now. I'm kind of looking at her just as someone who makes that Wakandan team viable in Blitz, really. So that's kind of how I'm looking at her. Maybe I'll build her up to like put her in with one of my other teams, but I don't know, man. I don't need to put her in with my symbiotes, right? Because they're getting two new characters right now. I don't need to put her in with my mercenaries or anything like that. Really, it seems like people are doing that. Sometimes I shouldn't say I don't need to. I could, maybe I should, but I'll talk about what I'm doing with my mercenaries. Sif, really important for Asgardians, important for unlocking Black Bolt, stuff like that. Asgardians, I have not invested heavily in, with one exception. But here, they're up to 45. Asgardians, I'm finding are super useful on war defense. That's about it, I guess, for me, and for unlocking, Black Bolt. Here we have War Machine. I do have him built up. You can see he's at 6 stars, right? So I've just been pulling War Machine like mad. He's a cool character though, so I want to see about using him, maybe paired up with Captain Marvel on a team, maybe messing around with a military team just for fun. I want to do that. Emma Frost, she's supposed to be a meta character, right? Really important. She was a new character. I did the best I could to get her up to like 3.5 stars here, basically. I did pull 4 red stars for her, which is, pretty good. That's like kind of where you want to be, right? Anything above that is just like, you're getting really good. But if you just get to 4 stars, that's like kind of like a good baseline of, hey, you can do what you need to with that character. So since I can do what I need to with that character, Mr. Sinister, Emma Frost, I'm pretty interested in building them up. I'm not at the point where like it makes a whole ton of sense, I don't think. But soon I've kind of been passively working on them, right? So they're coming along. Kree Noble. Now, so you're going to see I sunk a lot of resources into the Kree minions. This was because I wanted to unlock Nick Fury. And you guys might laugh at me for that. I don't know. I do not think it was a bad decision necessarily, but I might not have made that decision, in hindsight, right? When I first started playing the game, I started doing some research, and I ran into some information that was saying, hey, you want to maybe, focus on your shield team early, right? And I was like, well, I can focus on defenders, or I could focus on shield. I was like, well, let's focus on shield. Shield has a legendary, which is Nick Fury, and in order to get Nick Fury, you got to build up your Kree minions, right? So that's what I started doing. I don't really regret that. Shield was great for a lot of that early stuff. All those hero campaign nodes, they really helped me out in raids. I always had really strong raid teams for all the early raids that we were doing. And I really was doing fine. Even these Kree minions were kind of helpful in like the villains campaigns and stuff like that. So everything was going pretty well, right? I would say the main thing right now is that I am finding with pretty much all of my Kree minions at 60, and what is this, gear tier 10, 9, stuff like that. They're not super great on Blitz, right? So as a Blitz team, like I kind of wanted them to just kind of hold their own, and they don't, right? At least I haven't found that they do. So I tend to need to put them with someone else. I think my big, options there are stuff like putting them with Ronin, right? Putting them with Captain Marvel. So that's what I have right now, Captain Marvel with my Kree minions, and that's a fine team. So that works out. I don't feel like I've wasted too many resources. I have a good Blitz team that I can do as long as Captain Marvel's on there. They do great. So I think that works out. And and I did unlock Nick Fury. He's not quite the legendary that he used to be, I don't think. I do have him on my war defense though, and I feel like people get to that war defense team and they're like, yeah, they bail, right? For not just because of Nick Fury, but he's annoying to deal with. There are definitely counters. It's not, you can deal with it, but yeah, I do think he helps my war defense, and I do find him useful in other stuff. So it's not, he is a legendary. But is it the same? Is it the same path I would take again in the future? I don't know. It's the path I took. It worked out. Next up, we have, let's see. I told you Ms. Marvel for that. Young Avengers are pretty good. Baron Zemo, I am loving Baron Zemo. I wish I could get another 7, shards for him. I have pulled him a couple times from premium orbs though, so I'm hoping I pull him again from a premium orb, but that just seems like such a long shot. Luke Cage, I definitely invested into Luke Cage early in the game, but I decided I'm not really going to invest in defenders. I probably will. Like, they seem like a pretty decent blitz team. If at some point I'm just like, well, I can, I'm free to just invest in like another team or two for blitz, but I just haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't. Who knows how that's going to go? We're getting new characters, new teams all the time. Speaking of which, Squirrel Girl. I wasn't sure what to think of Squirrel Girl, but I have her now at four red stars, 4 gold stars, and she's a pretty good character too. So I think I'm gonna keep investing in her. She's paired up, like I said, with Miles, and they do pretty well just on that team. So those other characters I might bring up a little bit more. We'll have to see, but they're a decent blitz team right now. I like them. Next we have Killmonger. I did invest into Killmonger, and the reason for that is because I was using him on my Mercenaries team for a while. I have taken him off the Merc team. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Guardians. Guardians are a good team. I keep hearing that they're not a meta team, so I don't know that I want to invest really heavily in them. They do have good things, like they can be part of, what is it, the BKT team or something like that. They're good on their own. You add Star-Lord in there and they become good, like a good team. I consider them like a really solid blitz and war team for me. They're really useful. So, but I'm not going to invest heavily in them. I think I've probably invested about as much as I need to right now. Doctor Strange for Supernatural is great. I just got him up to 4 stars. He's at 4 red stars. I hear he's an important part of that team, so I might build him up a little more. Merc Sniper. Now, I've actually, you can see, invested fairly heavily in Merc Sniper. Everyone says he's a bad character, right? But I was pretty interested in the fact that Mercs have an event that comes up every month. It's called Payday, and you get gold from it. And early on in the game, I could farm Mercenary Sniper, right? His node actually gives you better gold on it than most of the other nodes for the amount of energy that it costs. So I would farm his node a lot. And along with my other mercenaries, I was able to get him up to 5 stars and start, farming that 5-star payday event and things like that, right? So that's why I've built him up with my mercenaries. It just made sense to me. Now, another thing that's weird, that probably a lot of people don't agree with, is I'm working on Mercenary Soldier. From what I hear, everyone's like, Mercenary Soldier sucks. Yeah, he doesn't have exciting abilities and stuff like that, right? Like, wow, he gets another 5% health, he gets another 5% damage, he gets another 10% health, he gets another 10% damage. I mean, it's basically the most basic upgrades you could possibly have. But what is good about Mercenary Soldier is that they are a skill character, okay? Now that we got Taskmaster, Taskmaster has an assist now whenever a skill character takes an action. Now, he does have a T4 that you can put on him, so that he does assist now with any other mercenary character. They don't have to be a skill character, right? But that's a T4. And unlike all those veteran players, I do not have T4 materials to burn through, right? Those are pretty precious to me. So when I was thinking about, hey, do I want to, use put that T4 on Taskmaster, or do I just want to build up Mercenary Soldier as a skill character to take advantage of his assist now? I'm working on Mercenary Soldier. And actually, I really like my Mercs team. I think it's fun. So we've talked about most of these teams: Guardians, Kree, Asgardians, Beast. So the X-Men. I'm up to some of these later campaigns, right? Nexus, you can use anyone on it that you want, so that's great. I've cleared, all of 7. These are all 3-star. Up into 8 here. There's just a couple that I haven't 3-starred. They're a little trickier. Thanos's node I haven't 3-starred, but I can farm him if I want, stuff like that. Villains, heroes are actually still, because they've added these 7. Actually, I guess I've 3-starred all these now, but heroes is being a pain in my butt. Heroes 7, this is where I'm stuck right now, right? So this is not that hard, these ones, because you can do, city characters, right? So I can use my best characters, which are like the symbiote, Spider-Man characters, and like, a Ghost Rider and things like that. But then it switches here, and I can use global characters, right? Now that's not so bad, of course I've got Shield, but I decided, I don't think Shield is the right thing for this. I've got most of X-Force except for Cable, and that actually might have been a better choice, but I was thinking, this is an excuse to build up my X-Men characters. It's fine. I'm going to unlock Phoenix soon, maybe not soon, in a few months. So, not so bad, but it's been a little tricky. I'll talk a little bit more about it. AIM. So, I heard earlier on, maybe not as early as it would have been nice to hear, but Tana has said that, oh, hey, build up AIM. So I kind of passively worked on AIM as I was doing other stuff, and I found they were super useful once it came to villains, right? So once I wanted to do these nodes before Hela, again, these ones, it's AIM, Hydra, Sinister Six, so this was it. I hadn't been building my Sinister Six, I hadn't been building my Hydra a lot, right? But my AIM I'd been building, so I was like, let's do AIM. So I went all in on AIM to get to Hela here. That turns out was a really good choice. I think AIM is a good team to do that with. What I struggled with a little bit is because I started working on AIM early, I started working on AIM Monstrosity because he was one of the characters that I could unlock. I didn't have Graviton unlocked. So I did AIM Monstrosity and all the minions, basically, and Scientist Supreme, right? So trying to put those against those nodes, I felt like it wasn't working, and I felt like maybe I needed Graviton. So I built Graviton up, and then I cleared those nodes, fairly easily. So that's my AIM story, I guess. Useful team. They're really good. Scientist Supreme is good. Ultron, just unlocked him, completing Dark Dimension 2 3 weeks ago, maybe, something like that. I haven't had him very long. Obviously, you want to build him up. What I found him useful for is just, he's been useful in raids, especially. Probably a campaign node or two here, too. But raids in particular, he's been really useful for. So like that kind of stuff, he's good. Colossus, yeah. So I started investing in my X-Men. So we've got like Colossus, we've got Storm. I like just Storm as a character in general. Psylocke, Cyclops. I started playing the game when Cyclops had his event come around. I think I must have started playing this game around February, maybe late January. So he had a Valentine's Day thing, and because because he was released the way he was released, even though I was a new player, I actually was able to unlock him, which I felt pretty good about. And since then, I've been able to work on him and have him higher level than a lot of other people, it seems like, that started around when I started. So, I've got him at 4 red stars. Like, he seems like a pretty good character. And, so I've kind of been building up these X-Men. Wolverine, of course, is like a login bonus, basically. So, I wanted to throw them at those hero nodes. I don't think they're really working without Phoenix, though. That's kind of why I boosted Beast up a little bit, because I'm like, maybe Beast can make them viable in those campaign nodes, right? But I only have them at 2 stars, so I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I can do those campaign nodes with these X-Men. Maybe when I get Phoenix, or maybe I just do X-Force or some combination. I haven't gotten through those nodes yet. But yeah, so my Merc team I really like. You can see I'm putting ISO 8 stuff into them. We have mercenary here. So, this is what you have to work with for mercenaries. And I just like them as like a cool war defense slash like blitz team slash some of the characters are useful in PvP, and also that event that they have. It's fun. So, Deadpool goes on X-Force, so that's fine. Taskmaster, I've given him the healer. I might actually switch him to, one of the other attack things or something. But I put healer on him because, like, I'm just like, man, like, these guys need more sustain, right? Bullseye, Merc Riot Guard, and Merc Soldier all have like fortifier on them. So because I'm like, man, Bullseye's squishy and he gets killed early. Put fortifier on him and he sticks around. He gets to do his big ultimate and stuff like that. He is a strong he has strong attack, right? And so I feel like with fortifier on him, he's not dying and he's super useful. Merc Riot Guard, I seem Fortifier seemed like an appropriate choice because they're going to be taunting and they're going to be taking hits, and sometimes they just taunt and take hits and then they get wrecked, and they're not going to get wrecked as badly. Merc Soldier, I was like, well, maybe I'll put like one of those things where he can make people vulnerable or he can take advantage of the vulnerable, but I started playing them on like some of the higher like blitz difficulties and stuff, and Merc Soldier was just dying, right? So I need to just get him up like another star. I need to maybe bring him up to level 60, and maybe he won't need fortifier so much, and I can do something else with him. But for now, I was like, let's put a fortifier on him. He gets some shield at the start of the game, and then he lives, so it's useful. And these are all skill characters, so they all get that assist now with Taskmaster. I think Merc Lieutenant is maybe the only one that doesn't get assist now. Merc Lieutenant is tech, but they're a strong character, I think, on the team. They heal. They also do some other like abilities that will give like offense up and things like that. And one thing about this team, I do not even have their abilities maxed out, right? This game has so far, for me as a new player, 8 months in, kind of a middle game player, it's still like I'm feeling the crunch on the ability materials, right? So even these teams that I kind of enjoy, like Mercs and X-Force and stuff like that, I do not have their abilities maxed out because I've had to focus on other characters with my ability materials. Now, eventually, I hear you're going to have enough ability materials, but it's a struggle. So I'm even more excited once I get these characters. I think he's not even at 6664. I still need to get Incendiary Arrow up. But once I have this Merc team all maxed out on their abilities, I don't know, they're fun. I just like them. I mean, it's like minions and stuff like that. I like that. I like how they're just like these little crummy underdog characters, but you can kind of beef them up and have fun with them. So yeah, so that's a fun team. I really like it. X-Force, I really like. X-Force has been, obviously, since I have been playing, they released X-23 and some of these other characters. So, unfortunately, I had a little trouble with Negasonic. I actually have her at 4 stars now. So I guess I don't know why I was thinking I had trouble. I guess I just didn't get her good red stars. That's it. So she's at 3 red stars. Domino's at 3 red stars, but she's farmable now. Negasonic is farmable now. I can't get to her node, right? But I have her almost at 5 stars, so that's not too bad. Cable's at 5 stars. He's at 5 red stars. I got that from... We had some event where it was like... it was a clear milestone clear that you could get him at 5 stars. Deadpool, I actually only have him at 3 red stars. I didn't realize that. And I pulled 5 red stars for X-23, so I'm excited about that. It's X-23, I want to get up to 5 red stars, or 5 gold stars. And, this seems like a good team. They're a little tricky in Blitz right now. I feel like I don't have them set up quite right. I don't have X-23 up to her 5th red star. Negasonic, I think, could be a little better, and these they don't have their their abilities all maxed out either. I just haven't quite been able to invest in them the way that I want. But I think this is a really cool team. They're kind of just becoming farmable, and again, they're kind of just a war offense team, a blitz team, but they're cool. I think they're a cool team, and I'm like they've been really useful on war offense. So that's been good for me. Because I don't have that many teams for blitz, for war offense, for all this stuff. So all of this is kind of exciting for me. And there's a reason for me to invest in some of these teams to have like, hey, I've got a few handful of good war offense teams. Obviously, I went in for Scientist Supreme on that AIM team. Wolverine, I ended up investing in him a little more heavily on X-Men because, you need those 6-star characters for Dark Dimension 1. And man, Dark Dimension 1 was kicking my butt all over the place, it felt like. And I just needed characters in that. I had Wolverine, of course, because he's just, you get him as you play the game. Spider-Man Miles. I was using them heavily in Dark Dimension 1. We had Shield Security. I had him in Dark Dimension 1. I was able to put Carnage in Dark Dimension 1, which was my saving grace. That's kind of about it. I mean, there were other characters I had in Dark Dimension 1 because I actually had 2 teams worth of characters. Mantis I had in there. Deadpool I had in there. Mordo I had in there. I had Gamora in there. There was just Ronan the Accuser I was using in there. I was able to get some of those characters up to 6 stars and fight in Dark Dimension 1. But I really feel like Carnage. I pulled, I want to say 5 red stars for him early on. And I think I might have gotten some good pulls on him too from orbs and things like that. So I decided to invest in him. And when I decided to invest in him, of course, like Symbiote Spider-Man was coming out. And like he was gettable for me too. So I found just playing those milestone events when Symbiote Spider-Man was around, he was another one of those characters that like I got pretty early on. And even when I think some people like, I don't know, just weren't unlocking him. And so I was able to really invest pretty heavily in Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. And I think that that's been to my benefit because, the symbiotes are a really good team. They're getting 2 new characters right away. They've been super useful. Of course, I noticed that they had like bonuses for raids and for Dark Dimension, so I've been able to use them in Dark Dimension. They were excellent in Dark Dimension 2. I completed Dark Dimension 2 in like a week, right? It took me like, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months or something to get through Dark Dimension 1. I was on the last node of Dark Dimension 1. And I finished Dark Dimension 2 before I finished the last node of Dark Dimension 1, right? So they were key to that. And yeah, I don't know, that was great. Obviously Minerva too was really useful for that. I just got her up to 4 stars. I took her through Dark Dimension 2 with only 3 stars. But she was still really useful. Hela, she's the exception for Asgardians. I've invested pretty heavily into her. Because she's such a good character, her infinitely respawning Greg is really useful. She's also pretty strong. Captain Marvel, the devs just sort of like handed some of her out, right? Because they were like, oh, like people that missed her events, they handed her out for that. Then they had like a calendar and handed a bunch of her out and stuff. So I've had her, she's farmable now temporarily for like a few months, so that's great. But yeah, I got some Captain Marvel, built her up a bit. She's obviously super useful. I've used her on like my arena team. I don't think she's a great arena character, but she is strong, and I've pretty much like had this Captain Marvel, Hela, Minerva, and then my symbiotes have just been like my core of arena, of Dark Dimension, of a lot of my raids and things like that. But I did build up Spider-Man and Miles and Peter Parker a lot because I wanted to use them in raids, and I wanted to use them in Dark Dimension. until we found out that these new symbiote characters were coming around. I was planning to like bring them into Dark Dimension 2 maybe if I could. Maybe use them. I don't know if you need them in Dark Dimension 3, but you know, I was like, oh, like let's use them. But we've got new symbiote characters, so anyway, they were useful in Dark Dimension 1 and stuff like that. So I don't really regret investing in them a lot. But they're not. I mean, basically, like I like that Miles has a team now with the Young Avengers, so that's cool. I feel like Spider-Man is a little homeless, and I also feel like he should be a little bit better. I did invest one T4 into Spider-Man again because like he was just one of my better characters for Dark Dimension 1. I also use him in raids a lot now. Still, I use him with the symbiotes in raids all the time, and yeah, and his Spidey sense. This was to give him like that better dodge, and I don't know, man. I feel like he doesn't dodge as well as he should. I feel like he should have 35% dodge chance, 40% dodge chance. It's not that. It feels like he feels like he dies, right? And Miles doesn't die because he has that stealth. And I'm like, I feel like Spider-Man's dodge should be like as good as Miles' stealth, right? And it's not. So that's one frustration for me. But yeah, and then these are some of the characters that I'm trying to farm. Green Goblin and Shocker, 4 Invisible Woman, Nobu and Loki, 4 Phoenix, right? And that's pretty much it. You know, I feel like I've been able to, with this approach that I've taken, you know, I have really solid raid teams with Shield, and then with symbiotes, and with the two, you know, the two Spider-Mans, right? I feel like I've been able to attack those nodes in the campaign nodes, especially with AIM and stuff like that to help me out. A little stuck in heroes there, but you know, I've built up some of the. I remember these villain mystics too. I think you needed for Hela maybe. You know, I built up Mordo, I built up Thanos. You know, you've got like Ghost Rider. I kind of forget it. Ghost Rider's he is a mystic. He's not a villain. He's a hero. Anyway, you know, like I don't know. Like I'm doing. I feel like I just completed Dark Dimension 2, right? So I'm not doing too bad for like 8 months into the game. You know, in my alliance, I'm the alliance leader, but like I'm the only person who's completed Dark Dimension 2 so far in my alliance. So, you know, if you're looking at me going, man, that dude should not have, you know, started with Shield and built up his Kree minions, and, you know, kind of taken the path that I took. You know, maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, but I'm not. You know, I think I'm sitting in a pretty good spot here for being 8 months into the game with Dark Dimension 1 and 2 done, and you know, working on some good characters for Dark Dimension 3, and a really good symbiote team here and stuff like that. So I'm pretty pleased with the game. It's a lot of fun. So I just wanted to kind of do the full you know, review for you guys. I know it was a lot of talking, but I hope it was fun. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys again.